Hey there, folks. I'm Mark, in affiliation with Spectrum Pulse. I think this is the closest I've got to decorating for the holidays, cause it's Billboard BREAKDOwn.
I don't remember.
I've got mixed feelings about the tsunami of holiday music that we get flooding the charts this time every year. And it didn't used to be like that. At one point, it used to make me angry that I had to go through all these standards that nobody really cared about for episodes of the show that would inevitably tank because nobody really releases new music around this time unless they're trying for a big surprise. But I don't know, having a method to wipe away all the big old recurrent singles of the year, especially now that all the holiday music is pretty well known and I don't have to dedicate new arrivals to songs that are decades old, it's a bit of a reset button that for all but the very biggest, it works just fine in my books, especially as it doesn't look like the majority of artists have figured out how to manage their chart runs around this time of the year. And that's especially true when we cut to the top 10, and look, Easy on Me by Adele is still at number 1, mostly because she holds the top spot on the radio and has a lot of strength in other channels, and she's probably gonna really need it if she's got a chance in hell of holding that spot against what's coming. Because Stay by Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber at number 2 does not have that chance. The radio, especially the streaming, it's on the downswing, but really, just a matter of time before All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey makes the big move beyond number 3. The streaming, the sales, this is going to be right down to the wire. She's going for the number 1. And right behind her, riding the same momentum as always, we got Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee at number 4, and Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms at number 5. All of which wrestled past Industry Baby by Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow at number 6, which is losing all of that radio margin it needed to hold up. Then we got Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives breaking into the top 10 at number 7, and that leaves our non-holiday stragglers. Heat Waves by Glass Animals at number 8, thanks to radio that is still not dead. This would be in the top 5 without holiday music. Shivers by Ed Sheeran at number 9, which has got better sales and radio, but really lags in streaming and looks like it's hitting a peak soon. And Need to Know by Doja Cat, where all it really has is radio and still has some decent traction there, much to my surprise. But here's where things actually get a little bit funny. Our losers and our dropouts. In the latter case, it's actually pretty straightforward. We got a couple longtime stalwarts finally getting pushed out by the holiday music, that being Levitating by Dua Lipa and Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic. The majority of the rest being tied to Adele's album bomb. And when we look to our loser on that territory, we got Oh My God at 37, My Little Love at 67, Can I Get It at 74, and I Drink Wine at 76. But here's the thing, the majority of our losers this week, they actually fall in the top 50, because for a holiday song to return to the Hot 100 and beat the recurrent rules, it needs to be in that area. Ergo, our losers tended to be much bigger songs. All Too Well, Taylor's version by Taylor Swift at 21, Fancy Like by Walker Hayes at 23, Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo at 26, Essence by WizKid featuring Thames and Justin Bieber at 28, You Right by Doja Cat and The Weeknd at 29, Way Too Sexy by Drake featuring Future and Young Thug at 31, Beggin' by Mainskin at 32, One Right Now by Post Malone and The Weeknd at 33, If I Didn't Love You by Jason Aldean and Carrie Underwood at 42, Better Days by Naked, Mae Muller and Polo G at 45, Love Nwantiti by CK at 47, Thinking About You by Dustin Lynch and Mackenzie Porter at 49, and My Universe by Coldplay and BTS at 50. But outside of all those, well, Already Dead by Juice WRLD continued to slide down to 75. Bad Man Smooth Criminal by Polo G is collapsing at 84. Losing all the gains we had Till You Can't by Cody Johnson at 88. Woman by Doja Cat at 90. And Moth to a Flame by Swedish House Mafia on The Weeknd at 94. And that leaves Buy Dirt by Jordan Davis and Luke Bryan at 54. And X for a Reason by Summer Walker and JT at the very bottom at 100. Go figure. But now for what presumably you've all been waiting for, our returns and gains, both of which are very swollen with all the holiday music. Now, funnily enough, there's actually a couple songs that are creeping at the very bottom in their comebacks that might try to hold on and then charge up through January, which in our returns actually includes Scorpio by Moneybagg Yo and Just About Over You by Priscilla Block at 81, but the rest of these are very familiar. Feliz Navidad by Jose Feliciano at 16, Christmas Baby, Please Come Home by Darlene Love at 17, The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole at 18, Sleigh Ride by the Ronettes at 19, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas by Michael Bublé at 20, Let It Snow by Dean Martin at 22, White Christmas by Bing Crosby at 25, Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson at 27, I'm still surprised that became a standard, Happy Holidays by Andy Williams at 30, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Gene Autry at 35, Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande at 36. I'm still very amused that this song exists and has actually lasted. Run Rudolph Run by Chuck Berry at 40, and Home for the Holidays by Perry Como at 46. But when we go to our gains, well, I already talked about a chunk of them breaking into the top 10, but we also saw It's the Most Wonderful Time by Andy Williams at 11 and Last Christmas by Wham at 15. And that leaves two non-Christmas gains, one utterly atrocious hoping to sneak in with Enemy by Imagine Dragons and JID at 69, and one that I'm actually coming around to like with ABCDEFU by Gale at 24. I mean, it seems like the better song has a little bit more traction. I will take what I can get. And that leads us to our new arrivals. All four of them. I mean, I'm taking the short week here because year-end content and getting through my backlog before the holidays, that takes precedent. And after 3 album bomb weeks in a row, I think I've earned it. So let's start off with number 95, Always Been You by Jessie Murph.
Guarding my ass, hopeless 'cause no one can take it from you.
This is one of those songs where I'm not sure what inspired TikTok to go semi-viral behind it, and given that she's already signed as a teenager, with this being the first song that's gotten any sort of organic buzz, that does raise my suspicions. But alright, Jessie Murph is a teenage pop singer-songwriter from Alabama. Both her parents are musicians. She's got a bit of an industry push in the past couple of months, with this fragment of a song that's actually getting traction, and yet why does her voice remind me of the unfortunate intersection between Tones and I and Bebe Rexha? Maybe it's the dreary percussion-heavy mix that gives her very little melody to play off of effectively, along with some pretty sloppy vocal mixing to boot, and that honestly makes it worse. And the fact that it's this heavy, love-struck yearning doesn't seem to click as well as it should, as it sounds like this is the one thing she's holding on to, but also sounds really dejected about it. But the song feels really weirdly dated in its approach, and honestly not all that likable. I mean, I don't want to be that mean, because again, she's still a teenager, but someone needs to tell her handlers this would not have worked in 2016 or 2018, let alone now. So it's not good. Number 82, Christmas Tree Farm, Old Timey Version by Taylor Swift. Man, Taylor Swift really wants to get this to become a modern holiday standard now, doesn't she? Well, hopping onto the bandwagon of Amazon Music for another song that becomes exasperatingly difficult to get elsewhere. Artist, Amazon Music, it's not becoming a thing. You've tried this crap for multiple years in a row. Nothing has stuck yet, but I'll give Taylor Swift this. It's a better version of this song. I mean, my original issue with the Christmas Tree Farm was that it was very obviously flimsy, thrown together in 48 hours, especially in the cheap as hell production. So using the big band orchestra behind her, where she can deliver a more mature sounding vocal, those are both the right choices, really good steps. I'm not saying this is reinventing the wheel. Honestly, she should probably just try to work 'Tis the Damn Season as the holiday standard for her in the future. It's both better written and it's also right goddamn there. But like I said a couple years back, it's harmless. Stop trying to make Amazon Music happen, though. But while we're on that subject, number 77, Pick Out a Christmas Tree by Dan and Shay.
We'll tie it to the car. Hey, don't forget the star. And when we get back home, plug it in and watch it go.
Okay, I've got mixed opinions on this from the jump. On the one hand, Dan and Shay have been trying to make the whole Christmas song thing happen for years now, and they're generally chipper and pleasant enough to sell it pretty well. I haven't minded what they've tried. On the other hand, they're doing the Amazon Music thing, and they don't have a fandom devoted enough to make an easy leak version of this online. I mean, the lyrics aren't even published on Genius. That's how much of a black box it is trying to get to this song. So I actually tried to sign up for Amazon Music to hear hear this mysterious 2.5 minutes, only to discover that the web portal for Amazon Music is so crash-prone in Canada, I couldn't even sign up properly from there. I can't even buy it directly in Canada, and it made me almost wonder if this was somehow an American exclusive Christmas song. Honestly, would not be out of character. But it turns out I just had to find another way to sign up for Amazon Music, download the desktop app, because, again, the web player is absolute garbage, and the app is only barely better. Then I checked out the song, and wow, if you wanted Dan and Shay to have a snap beat, a light funk groove with horns, a second verse where they talk about their bedtime for 4 bars, as on the hook they talk about buying a fake Christmas tree that's about as sterile and commercial as they get. I mean, it's no surprise on this dumpster fire of a platform, probably keeps it away from the public eye for good reason. And if this video winds up getting blocked because I'm using a sample of the audio, well, that's just my luck. But this is also really bad, and somehow I'm disappointed. So let's move on. Number 58, By Your Side by Rod Wave.
Young nigga way out of state, fucked up, getting over pain. Look how far a nigga came. You remember I ain't have a thing. Fucked up, walking through the rain.
Does this count as Rod Wave saving Christmas? I mean, I think it might, and he's doing it by interpolating the plain white tees, which, as someone who unabashedly likes Hey There Delilah, it's actually kind of adorable, but in the right way. And yet it's a shame it's about the only thing I can praise this song for. Yeah, the production's a little better off the cooing sample fragment, the piano, and the heavier percussion, but the rest of the track is basically a mini update as to where Rod Wave has been the past couple of months. I didn't even know he was gone, I thought he was just on tour. But then defaulting to some very basic flexing that's on his come up that Rod Wave has had really limited success making sound more interesting in recent years, especially as the switch up on his flow for the second half of his verse is pretty sloppy, and the song's basically a fragment. Honestly, without that interpolation on the hook, I would call this mid at best, but I gotta say it, I think it's probably the best of the week. Sorry, Taylor Swift, you're dealing with the hellscape that is Amazon Music, and while this version of Christmas Tree Farm is better, you don't need that particular paycheck. And honestly, it is still kind of insubstantial. Speaking of which, the worst of the week is going to Pick Out a Christmas Tree by Dan and Shay. Not just because of the miserable experience that came with Amazon Music trying to get it, although that was a factor. Next week, the onslaught seems to continue. Stay tuned for that. But until then, I'm Mark. You're watching Billboard Breakdown, affiliated with Spectrum Pulse. And I'll see you next time.